Good morning, my name is Stephen Capaldo, and it is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. In this message I'm going to talk about something that I don't know. I don't know if it will be a difficult message or a controversial message, I don't know, but it has to do with making different types of decisions if you are a couple living now in the millennium, and the new earth will have new bodies, renewed minds, and the rest of it. We won't be facing these issues. But since we are still in the middle of making this transition from old to new, I thought it would be good to mention some of these things as some of the pitfalls in decision making for couples. There are divine masculine and divine feminine energies. So for this discussion, just to keep it easy, I'll go with the majority situation of man and woman. If you need to make an adaptation or application, other than that, you can do that as we go along. So what I'll do, the first thing I'll do, is I'm going to read the classic passage on husbands and wives. And the only thing I'm sorry about is that I won't be able to see some of you go apoplectic and your head's exploding and everything else as I read it. But I'm going to read it and I'm going to try to explain it, what I mean in the context of decision making. And I'm going to call these decisions vanilla and chocolate. Okay, the vanilla is sort of the basic, everyday, non-life-changing decision, kind of routine decision, and the chocolate is sort of the life-changing, very important, bigger decisions. And how does the couple go about identifying which is which and making decisions in that context? So with that said, I'll go to Ephesians 5:21-33. So put your seatbelts on or crash helmet on, whatever you need. Okay. Also, submit yourselves to one another. Notice that. People don't talk about that very much. Out of reverence for Messiah. Wives, to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is head of the wife, as Messiah also is head of his community, himself the Savior of the body. But as Messiah's community is submitted to Messiah, so also the wives to their husbands in everything. And I'll just make another note here, is I'm not going to dwell on things like head and weaker vessel and things like that. You have plenty of senior theologians who are happy to argue about that. What I will say is that in this age that we live in, that man is good at some things and woman is good at other things, and they don't always balance each other very well. Husbands, love your wives just as Messiah also loved his community and gave himself up for her to make her holy, having cleansed her by immersion in the word. Messiah did this so that he might present himself to himself his glorious community, not having stain or wrinkle or any such thing, but in order that she might be holy and blameless. In the same way, husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Messiah also does his community, because we are members of his body. For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is great, but I am talking about Messiah and his community. In any case, let each of you love his own wife as himself, and let the wife respect her husband. So in that context, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the skill that the couple needs to develop. Is they need to develop the ability to identify which decisions are sort of routine and which decisions are not routine, which decisions are, they're big decisions, they change things, and it might be making a major purchase or, dealing with some family situation if you have a difficult family member or something like that, just big things. Vanilla or chocolate. Now the vanilla decisions, it might well be that the woman says, okay, you seem to be good at this, so you're the man, just do what you need to do. Everyday things, and the man might just make decisions here and there, and it's fine, and nothing ever happens. Now, the woman has to be consistent on that as well, and not say, well, okay, you made a bad decision, so I'm turning my back on you. No, you keep supporting, you keep respecting, even if the man messes up. But in general, what I'm talking about here are routine decisions where maybe that's what the woman says, okay, you seem to be good at this, so you're the man, you lead, you make the decisions in this and that. That's vanilla. But there are a lot of chocolate decisions as well in life, non-routine, life-changing things. You're going to buy a home, you're going to buy a car, whatever. You're dealing with different situations in life. It really substantively changes your life. The chocolate decisions. Now, there it's very important it's very important that the man not just impose in that case. So the couple has to be able to identify which is this decision and which is that decision, and then be consistent and not sort of, waver and be fickle and this type of thing. It's very important not to sort of abandon one another, mentally or psychologically because maybe someone got it wrong. If they tried their best and maybe they just missed it, right? So what's very important here in the non-routine decisions, which come up for couples a lot, is the man should not just go off and make the decision without regard for the wisdom that the woman can contribute. And wisdom, women, that's one of the things they're good at, is contributing the wisdom, guiding with the wisdom. That's something guys just kind of think, oh, here's what I want to do, and they go do it, And sometimes they need to be helped a little bit. So it's also important, not just that the man not go off kind of half-cocked, so to speak, and just make a decision. It's also important that the woman not try to compete with the man trying to make the decision, because then you end up with two parties going different ways in trying to make the decision. What is important in these chocolate, non-routine, possibly life-changing decisions is that the two have to work it through together until they come to a common understanding, or what you might call a meeting of the minds, right? And that's very important, to be able to have the skills and the knowledge and the ability to identify the two categories of decisions, the two basic categories. You can structure it any way you want, but the two basic categories, agree on that, be consistent with that, and then, okay, if the woman is fine that the man does the routine things, then support the man, okay, respect the man. But in many cases, it's going to be a lot different than that, and there's going to have to be some dialogue. And what in this passage, nobody wants to dwell on what's in this passage, but mutual submission, right? Mutual submission, that's the type of thing, is that you don't just go off one this way, one that way, competing with each other, which creates chaos and confusion in the relationship, and God is not the author of confusion. So this ability to distinguish between vanilla and chocolate, I would say it's a fairly important skill for a couple to develop. And we each have our comparative strengths, and like I say, the way we are designed right now for this period of time is that the man is good at some things and the woman is good at other things. And so to try to balance those things, and you draw on your comparative strengths, but you also have to work together in the most difficult decisions, that difficult category, the chocolate decisions that you have to make in the course of your relationship. In the vanilla decisions, routine's probably okay. The woman is probably happy to say, okay, just go for it. It's an everyday thing, and just let me know if you want to talk. But you just go and you make the decisions. You lead. You're good in this area. You're the guy. Okay. And that the man and woman might share different tasks in different ways. I'm not talking about that, but that's just kind of a general outline and a basic principle. So. Anyway, that's really all I have to say on that particular topic. It's not a long message, but I thought it was very important because it comes up in relationships, and it can be a struggle if you don't agree on how to make decisions. And it's also an important thing in organizations, in corporate life, in some type of religious organization, church, whatever you want to call it, a place of worship, is how are decisions made. And if there's not clarity regarding what decisions are to be taken and how they are to be taken, then you can really have big problems. So just a word of warning, but I think it should be a word of encouragement as well. So there's a lot of the mutual submission in there. There are a lot of these decisions that have a real impact on your lives, and you do have to dialogue together, not each one go off or competing with each other, and that's very important. So having given a message like that, maybe I should read Psalm 91 for protection. He who dwells in the shelter of God will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For He will rescue you from the hunter's trap and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is body armor and shield. You will not fear the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the plague that stalks in darkness, nor the scourge that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look on with your eyes and see the wicked paid back. For you have made the Lord your dwelling, even Adonai, who is my refuge. So no evil will befall you, nor any plague come near your tent, for he will give his angels charge over you to guard you in all your ways. Upon their hands they will lift you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and cobra, trample the lion and serpent. Because he has devoted his love to me, I will deliver him. I will set him securely on high, because he knows my name. When he calls on me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, rescue him, and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Thank you very much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.